Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to today's stream. Day 3 of the rebuilding Twitter. We have been working on this from here. This is obviously Twitter. We can maybe add that loading screen at some point, but we got that here. We've taken this and we've come to this. We have the side menu, the center menu. We just last week got started building out the tweets themselves. So that's this part here, and it's just dummy content, and we're just working on the front end, so we're not going to worry about the back end side of things, but at least for now. So here's our HTML. We've just got our tweet body in here. It's just some dummy text as well, like I say. And we're styling it up. And so we have this hover that shows up, but I've got these borders on here, but I realized that it actually doesn't have those borders in here. And so let me know in the chat if volume sounds good, if we got any, if you're able to hear the music, if you're able to hear my voice. And we'll get started. So I noticed that I had put these borders on here, but I don't think I want that border. And it looks like there is a border on the top and the bottom. It seems like it gets darker, but I don't think it actually is. I think it's just the optical illusion of it getting darker. So let me put another tweet in here just so we have... This is the tweet right here. So it's quite big, actually. There's quite a bit of HTML in there. Let's just change it up. John Doe. And we will just switch some of this to make it appear like it's different. Sure, that works. And let me put that like that. Okay, so something's weird. Now we've got all this extra space in here. Okay, I see. So these are actually not stacking properly. So first thing I need to do is... So this is the tweet form, this is the tweets. So we don't have a container for these, so let's create a container for these. Class equals tweets. Tweet, and that will end right there. And now we need to make that stack horizontally. So let's put that right here. Tweets, display that flex, and we'll give it a flex direction of column. And so now that should, although it's not, make these stack. So let's see why that is. So we have our tweets here. And I'm not sure why we all of a sudden have all this space in here. So we'll fix that after. Let's, oops. We'll figure this out in the, oh, that's interesting, the aside. So there must be a div that's not closing properly, is what I'm thinking. Let me try closing another div and see if that helps. There we go, that looks better. So I must have not grabbed one of the divs when I hit that tweet there. Oops. Okay, so now these here should be going vertically. Flux direction column. Okay, I see. So we've got a tweet and the other tweet is inside of it. So that's where that extra div came in. So I need to move this from here to here. And I think that might clear things up. There we go. So now we have the two tweets. Let me just go like that there. Okay. Let's move this over. So we have our two tweets, a little bit different. Let's change the photo just so that it... Tweet 2. That should give me a different photo. Perfect. And actually, if I get rid of this, because that's technically, ideally a post by me, so this photo should be the same as this one, and should be the same as this one. And so I'm using just place beard. It just grabs a random image and puts it in there. So let's fix that border issue there. And this, it's obviously a different shape of icon, but that's the best that we can do for now, and I will also need a hover on that. Let's give it a bit of spacing, because there is some spacing on the top, and then there's also these icons at the bottom here, so we need to put those in there. So let's give the tweet padding top of 1 rem instead of 0.5. And then we've got the grays. So it looks like it's white unless it's hovered on. And is that what we got here? Yeah. And does the border show up? Yeah. But that gray is a little bit darker. So I think I need to change that. And then this gray is a little bit darker as well. So the tweet form border bottom 1 rem, so 10 pixels, solid gray. Let's make this gray instead of gray. And I think I need to make that a little bit lighter. So I'm just going to color pick. Oops. My color pictures seems to have disappeared. Let me just grab it this way. Background color is this here. So I'm going to make gray be this color. So I've got some variables up at the top to make that easier. We'll make gray this color. Let's see how that looks. That looks better. And then these borders, Obviously in mobile on Twitter it looks a little bit different. We haven't done the mobile stylings yet, so that'll be the next piece, or one of the next pieces. I like to do mobile at the end. But this border, it's not very visible on here, and that might be my monitor. Let me just pull it over here and see. Yeah, no, it definitely needs to be a bit bigger. So or a bit darker. So first let's try darkening it a little bit and see how that works. So I'm just gonna make it just a little bit darker. Yeah, I think that looks better. Yeah, that's closer. And so the hover though is the light color. It's a little bit lighter than the border, so we might actually need a third color. And I'll just do this, and I'll make this hover. And I might rechange these after, but I just want that just the tiniest bit darker. So gray hover. So now if we go to the tweet, and we do the hover instead of, we'll give it background hover, and then we won't change the borders. We'll leave them the way that they are. Oops. Let's refresh this. Oh yeah, because now I refreshed it and I killed the live server. So let me go back in. Open with live server. We'll reopen that up. The hovers we'll get to maybe at some point, but for now we'll leave them without. So yeah, it's definitely darker. And what is it? It's lighter than this, and it's actually lighter than the border. So I think I went the wrong way. So rather than making it a little bit darker, I actually want it to be a little bit lighter even than this one. So let me grab that one and let me just could probably go just even a slightly bit lighter as well. So let me just try this. Whoops. Okay, cool. Nope, not save. Perfect. And do they... So they don't have any kind of... It's just on or off there. But I kind of like... And here's where actually... Maybe I'll wait because I kind of want to do a pass where I make some adjustments. So I'll do that at the end where I make some changes to the styling. It might have a subtle... but now we got this... here has a hover over top of it. So... And I might try and find a caret that looks a bit bigger than, or a little bit better than that, because that's quite a bit different. And I imagine that there's a Font Awesome just changed all their, just released Font Awesome 6, so I'm still getting used to figuring out where everything is on there. Caret. We'll see what that returns. Caret up, caret down. Do we have any that's more angle? There we go. Let's try angle down. So let me see, what did I use? Yeah, I used like a solid caret, so I'm gonna go with caret down. And so that is in the tweet itself. We have this caret down, so I need to change that to angle down. Angle down. And the other one here too. Angle down. And it is an anchor, and I believe that I made a class for so .btn. I think I might be able, I think I can just give this a class of btn button, and that will give me that hover over effect. Let me give it a try. Here and here. So let's just see. Whoa, that's not what I was looking for. That's interesting. So, oh, because that's button. Yeah, not the link. Okay. Hover link. That's the class I'm looking for. Not btn hover link. Let's just confirm that. Yeah, it's super subtle on this monitor. I'm using a bigger monitor that doesn't have the same color spectrum, so that's a little bit different. It's also not very dark, not very noticeable because it is on the gray background too. So what does Twitter do about that? So it is noticeable there. So maybe this is still a little bit too dark. Let me just grab this actual color and see. We'll give it a hover. No, that's not. We need the hover's probably on. No. So we gotta find where that's a section, so I think that's let's hover there, no. Hover here, no. Hover here, no. Hover here. Hover here. Hover here. One of these has to be though. So it's not that, it's not that. That's hover. That's all hover, hover, hover. 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 Okay, that's not gonna work. Let me see how else I might be able to do this. Here's how I can do it. I can take a screen cap and open up Paint. Well, Paint doesn't have a very good color picker, so I'm going to open up GIMP. GIMP's going to take a while, so maybe we can move on to something else while that's opening. I have to put the hover link instead of BTN on the other tweet. So there's that. This is GIMP opening up. Okay, so that looks good. What else do we need? Next we got the bottom, the footer here with these icons. So let's create that, and they've each got colors. So in my files, I did pre-select a few. I don't need the preview. Tweet buttons, so add image, poll, emoji, and calendar. Oh, that's these ones here. Comment, retweet, like, and share. So that's these ones here. So it looks like, so we've got these two columns. We got that where this is, and then we've got this. So this only actually goes underneath the content itself, and we can do a display flex and have those buttons spaced between there. So let's go ahead and when you hover, it's just a hover button with an icon. So in the footer we have this word icons, and that's right here. So instead of that, I want to create 4 hover link times 4, and we'll give them each padding there. Hey Tim, how you doing? So now I'm just going to grab these comments here, or these icons here that I've pre-selected, and add them into here. And I'll probably have to give them different classes than the hover link, actually, because on Twitter here they've got different colors for each one. So there's that one. Comment, retweet is here. And then we got like. Good, my friend, yourself? Yeah, I'm doing good as well. I played around with, finally got to doing some work. That space, I don't remember if you saw the pixel art that I was doing with the space scene. And what I started playing around with Godot, Godot, I guess, the game engine, and managed to get it so that I can have the ship spinning around and starting shooting at asteroids that are coming in. So that's what I'll be working on stream on Wednesday. So that's been fun to have that come together. Didn't see it? No, yeah, cool. Let me. Hey, Nasty Nate, how you doing? I'm doing well, thank you. How are you? You're just in time. Tim was just got here too, and I was sharing that over the weekend I started playing around with. So I've been doing some pixel work on Wednesday nights. Part of it was for a space game that I'm kind of working on, based on a concept that Vimlark had kind of put together in his, and so now it's I've started playing around learning Godot. So this is kind of the first game that I've built that has like that's starting to have full functionality in that. So I don't know if you can see it, but here's super simple. But the idea is to defend the planet, obviously. And obviously I haven't got scoring done yet, but it's coming together. It's been fun to make. Will there be asteroids? Yeah, that's the asteroids, yeah. So that's basically my first introduction to Godot, the engine. So it's been, yeah, super fun to play with. I'll be doing more on Wednesday night with that. Hey, Cody. Nice to see you. Did you see the game there, Cody? Love the art style. This one here, the asteroids aren't mine. They're from a pack. I've got everything else on here is mine though. I'm playing with the screen shake and different health levels. I added the particle system on the asteroids when you're firing at them, but they'll keep spawning. And I got ideas for different level ups. So like a ton of it's really just going to be like what time zone am I in? I am in Pacific time on the West Coast. So it's 10:30 here. Yeah, so that's kind of like I'm building that game because it's a super simple concept, but I can see infinite possibilities of how I can expand on it. So in Vim's version, he basically had where as you're firing, you had to also use a beam to pick up batteries from the earth to recharge your weapon. So I'm going to implement that concept, but then there will also be power-ups, which will be just other weapons like pulses that you can send out, or you can place some items there so that proximity mines, so that when the asteroids come in, and ideally you just have a time limit and you're trying to defend the planet for a certain amount of time, and it gets more and more complex as you play. Southern Cali boy, yeah, cool. I love that area. I was down there in February. San Diego area. I like all the Mega Man running around on the screen too. Yeah, that's something I added, so I was curious how those are showing up. I haven't actually seen it, so that's the stream avatars thing. I just installed the Mega Man pack because Mega Man's awesome, but I can actually create my own pixel art characters for these, so I'm going to work on my little Jesse Running Man. He'll be running around there too, and then maybe some other ones. And that's kind of one of the cool things with the kind of the community building aspect or fun channel thing. You can add these little things here, and then as people stick around longer or follow or subscribe, you can get like little items for your guy that shows up on there, and I can create my own art for it, which is super fun. I'm originally from the Bay Area, north of San Francisco. Just recently moved in 2018. Cool. I've been in and around San Francisco so many times, but around San Francisco so many times, but never right in San Francisco. So I spent some time, in February, I was up in Watsonville at a yoga center there. Like the concept so far? Cool. Thanks. Yeah, little incentives. It's like just for fun things. Oh, and I can do cool stuff too. Actually, watch this. Where is it? Here. Let's. Cool, man. Be right back. Nightbot. I just I've implemented the chatbot to see how that works too. So I'll be doing the settings. Obviously, it doesn't like ha ha ha's in all caps. I might need to adjust that. Where am I here? Back to here. Let's go here. Cool. Okay, so now I've got these 4 icons across here, but obviously that's not the way we want it. We want, and this footer needs to be added as well to the first tweet. So I'm going to update that. For everybody just coming in, if you haven't seen yet, we're just basically recreating Twitter. So we've went over the last couple days. This is day 3. Just doing the HTML and CSS and kind of showing how I would create this interface from scratch. So I'm using VS Code. You can use literally any text editor. You could use Notepad if you wanted to, if you felt inspired to create this. And then I'm just running it using Live Server, but you can just type in HTML, type in CSS, and open it up in your browser, and it would do the same thing because we don't have any server needs in this particular case. So we're going to build out the interface here, and then after the HTML and CSS, the design stuff, I'll go into the mobile stuff, so which is, as you can see with Twitter, when it shrinks down, it hides some things. So we'll go into how that process works. And then lastly, we'll add some functionality. So like certain things, like when you click on there, so this float out thing that has the little arrow, we can show how that's sort of made, and that's using JavaScript. And I'll probably even get into where using local storage, we'll be able to create a mock-up where this would be a functioning system where I can add tweets and remove tweets, but without a database backend. So it's all on the front end, just for a mock-up purposes. So this would be something that you would create for a client or as a proof of concept. So feel free, if you have any questions about the tech or about the process, go ahead and throw them in chat. So now I've got this tweet footer. So this tweet is broken up into a few different pieces. There's a column here that has this in it, and then the column here that has this stuff in it. And now we've got these 4 here, but obviously we want them to be spread across. And I just noticed there is these numbers beside there. So let's just throw some of those in just so that we can make sure that we have those stylings if we need them. And we can see some of them have them, some of them don't. So if there's nothing's been done yet, it doesn't show up. If there is, then it isn't. Then the numbers don't show up. So it's good to have those when you're doing the mock-up, both options, so that you can style them both and make sure that they show up accordingly. What's the rule on caps? I think I just left all the default settings on Nightbot, so I got to kind of adjust it, and I think that's one of the things that by default it turns off, that doesn't like people putting all caps in case people are yelling or getting intense in the chat, I guess. I think it's a completely different environment when you're writing code versus when you're playing Modern Warfare, so I probably need to make some adjustments to there, because I certainly don't mind some ha-ha-has in there. So let's find, this is the tweet footer. So tweet footer is the class. So let's find where I've got that in here. Oh, I don't actually have it styled yet. So let's just create that. Tweet hover, our tweet header, so let's put it after there, our tweet footer. And then here I'm going to display this flex, and we will align items center, and we will justify content space between. And so there we go. So now we got them side by side. Now I do notice that it looks like the text does go over there, but this doesn't go all the way. So maybe we'll just put a maximum width on this. And we'll say 90% and see how that looks. Looks a bit better. There is a little bit more spacing on here, so I think I might just throw some padding on the tweet body. I think, yeah, tweet body. So I don't think I have that in here either. So let's create that, and we'll give some padding on the right side of like 1 rem. So that works out to 10 pixels. Follow suit. Yeah, that's so cool. So has Twitter never had auto-translate? Never knew. If so, I'm just assuming that's what you're creating. I'm not sure what you mean about the auto-translate. No need to be sorry. And so we've got these, but actually I'm noticing that I might want to create a separate class for these, because I've added that hover link on here, but these are a special case because the icon is hovering, but the number shouldn't, as we see in here. And the color of the text does change, though, when we hover it. So, and the color by default is gray. So we will need to update that. I noticed there was text in a different language and then it changed to English. Oh, I see. It might have been, maybe it was something of, oh, I see. No, it's just the, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's because I flip back and forth. This is just lorem ipsum. It's like basically, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it at all, but basically it's like a mock Latin language. It doesn't actually mean anything at all. It's just created by designers for mocking things up. It's meant to simulate a real language, so you can just copy and paste it in and not have to write text. So you can go to lipsum.com, and this was the original one. So it's dummy text for printing, so just for doing mock-ups, and you can say I want to generate how many words, whatever you want, and then here we go, some selection of text. Code is the language. Yeah, totally it is. Yeah, it's something I've been thinking about lately too, is something that's come across as something that could be helpful for me just in dealing with my own, keeping my mental health and just being present with things and processing different informations, is writing. And I've been struggling with trying to find time to write. And I've realized that that's because I'm literally writing all day long, either writing for game development or writing code for websites. So I was trying to figure out why I was struggling so hard at writing, because I actually love writing. And then I realized, oh yeah, I'm actually writing all the time. That could be part of it. So it started out as Lipsum. This was from designers that created this, and then there's been other ones similar to, like, I'm using Placebeard. So there was Place Kitten was the first one, where you could just use a URL and it would give you a random image of a kitten. And now there's Placebeard that gives you a random image of a guy with a beard, and that's what we're using here. So every time I refresh, there's going to be a new guys with beards here. Yes, my mental health has had a hard time lately too. I'm a natural empath and it's hard to process everything. Happy to be here and chill. Yeah, totally. I think everybody's feeling it right now with the state of the world. There's so much going on, and there's a lot of intensity, and I think the more we can do to work on ourselves, the easier, the better we can manage that. And so that's where writing has come in, is wanting to use that as a tool for myself to maintain my own temple, so that as I'm in the world, I can not add to the anxiety with my own anxiety. 100%, yeah. So yeah, so lorem ipsum, there was place kitten, place beard, all that, and then now there's somebody's created hipster ipsum. And so it's the exact same thing, except we can create, instead of paragraphs of just lorem ipsum, which is a Latin-based generator, this one's hipster-related text. So you can have regular hipster or hipster with a shot of Latin, and you click beer me, and then it's just going to give these like hipster-type YOLO, try hard, asymmetrical pock, keytar, pickled, deep flexitarian, sustainable craft beer. Hipster Epson, yeah, that's great, hey? And it's all just placeholder text. So let's switch this up then. Let's actually. So this is where it's nice too, is I can actually come in. Oh, it just gives me paragraphs. So Lipsum will let me say how many characters, so I'd be able to do. Make sure it was Twitter length appropriate. But I'm just gonna grab this, and just for the fun of it, let's go in and change one of these from Lipsum to hipster Lipsum. There we go. I'm baby sustainable wolf XOXO. Every day carry vegan biodiesel. Narwhal ugh jeans. Shorts Portland. Microdosing fam artisan. Locavore affogato. DIY semiotics. Nosgard. Chickarones Iceland. He just snorted. Well, if I can provide snort-worthy material, then that's a good start to the week, I would say. Cool, so let's style these icons here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the hoverlink class on here because I don't need it now. I'll style it based on this, but I will give them each their own class so that I can handle the colors. So class equals, and this one will be comment, this one will be retweet, this one will be Ike like, and I just realized the music has stopped. Let's fix that. How is the volume level on the music? Is it alright with my voice as well? And this is share. It's a little quiet. The audio, the vocals or the music? Also, if you were wanting it to stream through OBS, it's not. Yeah, I turned the, let me adjust. How's that? Is that more? I turned it down because it's hard to know what the levels are. Voice is great? Okay. How about the, there we go. Is that better? Does that sound like a good balance there? Cool. Awesome. Thank you. That's super helpful. Good, Tim. Thanks. Very nice balance. Cool. That's what we strive for, is good balance in all things. So here's where right now, because I'm actually just hard coding this, so writing everything out, I've written one tweet here, and now because I made some changes to this, I have to come down here and paste this out. So this is where like a template would be really good, but that gets into the JavaScript side of things, so for now I'm just going to copy and paste it. But once I'm done all the styling, then I'll go through and actually go through a pass of the code and say, here's how we can improve things, here's how we can make things more streamlined. So that'll be the step after all the design stuff's done. So audio engineer approves. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that if we're going to get some tips, you'd be the guy to help me out with that for sure. So I need a little bit of spacing on this. So let's go back to the tweet footer, and we'll just give a little bit of space. So that's 0.5 rem on the top and bottom and 0 on the left and right. But that doesn't quite look like enough, so I'm going to give it a bit more. That looks better. And then what we need to do is change the links to just use the standard gray, I think. Nope. So here's where I might need to add another color, because okay, so actually all of these here are a little bit too light. So I think what I'm going to do is create a gray text. And that'll be a darker version of this. And it doesn't really matter to change the hue, because it's mostly black and white, but I find if blue is kind of the color that's the theme for the site, by adding just like the tiniest amount, subtlest amount of blue to your design, that's so much that it's not even kind of noticeable, gives this really interesting, like, subtle tie-in to the rest of the colors on the page, if that makes sense. So where I want to use this now is this what's happening, these things here, and then the bottom text. So let's see where those are. First, let's see how that looks. If I add this to the tweet footer instead of gray, we want gray text, and see how that looks. Is that, I think maybe even a bit darker. Coffee's done. Cool. Enjoy. So it looks like maybe the music is... Let me see what's going on here. View playlist. Is that a piece? Is that a piece is in your piecing out, Cody, or is that just a piece is in piece, man? The emotes are kind of cool. That's the next step. So if you get to where you're an affiliate, then you can actually create emotes for your channel. So that's kind of fun. So I don't know what we'll create yet, but if we can build the community up to a level where that's accessible, then we can design some emotes. So that star that says jump, I think if you type !jump in the chat, your character will jump, so you kind of have to time it, and then you can collect that star. Coffee. I can't drink it, but I love yerba mate. They have a yerba mate cafe on Salt Spring Island, actually. Yeah, definitely. I have Mate Da. I think they're still closed now, mostly, but they're run by Stowe Lake Farms, which is, I think the guy who owns Stowe Lake Farms here on Salt Spring is the guy who is the owner of yerba mate, actually. They put on some good concerts there. That's awesome, yeah. Okay, so that looks a bit better. So now let's style the author tag. And we'll make this gray text, and then the what's happening is the tweet input. Tweet input placeholder, and we want that to be the gray text as well. So there, that looks better. Now we can actually see what's going on. We want to get rid of the underline on these, and we want to add a little bit of space beside the icon. So that's back in our tweet footer. And our anchor tags, text decoration, none. And now we want to grab the I, which I think, so the way that Font Awesome works is you use an I to put in your icon, but then Font Awesome's JavaScript, it actually replaces it with an SVG. So I actually want a style based on the SVG, not on the I tag. Need to come visit. Yeah, definitely. I have a van set up of my own, by the way. Oh, sweet. That's awesome. Are you, like, staying in it, living in it, traveling in it? Padding right 1 rem. Ooh, so that actually shrunk it down for some reason. That's interesting. So let's size 1.8 rem, and let's see how that works. So font size is how it determines the icon. So that's a bit too big, so that's 2.2. That's a bit small, I think. Yeah, we want it 2.8, no, 242. That's going to be a giant icon. 2.4. 2.6. So that's 26 pixels. That looks pretty decent, but I'm noticing that they're not in alignment. So I think I want to make this display flex and align items center, and that might put those closer to that. And here's interesting. So I actually want the text, which is the number, to be a different font size. But if I add the font size here, it will change the font size of the SVG, because the SVG is actually in the anchor. So if I move the SVG after this, that should maintain that font size, and I should be able to set this font size to maybe 1.6 RAM. 1.4 RAM. 1.2 RAM. That looks better. Preparing to camp and explore with it for sure. I need to wash clothes somehow and have an address. Yeah, that's the trickier parts. Washing clothes is not too bad. There's typically laundromats everywhere. I think the biggest thing that I've found with van camping, the hardest part is finding fresh water at times, which Walmart's usually pretty good if you really need to like go get some water, and just cooking when, like, if you're out in the world or if you're in a city, it's just kind of hard sometimes to cook. If you've got a good decent setup inside, it's not too bad. Actually, that's not true. The hardest thing is keeping fresh food. So like, I would certainly recommend you can get coolers that are like lighter controlled and like 12 volt cooler. That would be probably my number one investment if I was going to be traveling full time in the van again, because it's just really hard to keep food fresh, especially if you're going anywhere warm, which obviously that's one of the nice things about being in a van, is to go to places that are warm. Okay, so now we got to hover these icons. And we don't need those numbers on both of them, so I'm going to actually remove it on one of them just so we can see what it looks like with and without them. And so let's see if we can add a hover effect on the SVG itself and see how that looks. Footer SVG hover. I'm going to do a hover. So when I hover over the link, so the whole entire link, the SVG will be restyled and it'll have a background color of red, just to see how that looks. Okay. So one thing I'm noticing, because of the padding that's right, I actually want to change that to margin so that it's not filling that space. So we've got this padding right. I'm going to make it margin so that way, and then I don't have to worry about the font size. Interesting. No, but I do need to adjust it. Let's make it let's just make it 2. .8, and this can actually be 1.4 maybe now. No, I think it was good at 1.2. I have a big water jug and a camp stove. 12 volt cooler is good as long as it doesn't drain the battery by accident. Proper air ventilation is what I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, so what I would say with the cooler that I haven't really done yet because I haven't had this, but what I would probably do with it is only plug it in when I'm driving, and that way it can cool things down, because once it's cooled, it's going to stay cool. So then it's kind of like you've got this thing that rather than having to put ice in it, you can just run your vehicle, cool things down, and then just leave the lid cold, put some ice in it, and that should maintain it cool most of the time. And if you've got a decent battery, I don't know how the draw is on the coolers. It might be a lot on there, but I can run my laptop for a good... I've ran it for close to 2 hours but still had no problems with my battery. So I think it probably depends on the battery as well. And a little trickle charger solar panel would probably be helpful too. Proper air ventilation was what I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, it can be a thing for sure, especially if you're somewhere where there's lots of mosquitoes, because then it's like super hot in the van and you want to open the windows, but as soon as you open the windows, then you're filled with mosquitoes. The top of my van, it's not quite so bad now, but it looked like a battlefield at one point because I was traveling through northern Ontario and it was just super hot. So we'd have the windows open and then you'd wake up and the whole top of the van would just be covered in mosquitoes. So you'd just be like smacking it and killing all these mosquitoes, blood stains everywhere. Cool, so there's that. Now I do want a bit of padding on it so that I'm just going to give that a background color of red so that I can see what's happening, and then I'm going to give it a padding of maybe 0.5 rem and then a border radius of 50%. So it's resizing it, which is interesting. I'm not exactly sure. So this is the Font Awesome is doing this. So when you add the padding, it's not allowing it to expand. So now I might need to reintroduce the font size to just override whatever Font Awesome's doing. And that looks pretty good. This one's a little bit wonky, so I might need to add a little bit more padding to make sure. So I think I'm going to leave the padding. Let's try this. Let's give it a width of 50 pixels and a height of 50 pixels and see what that looks like. So that does not work. Overflow's visible. So let's make it display flex. Align items center, justify content center, and see what that looks like. So that's a little bit better, I think. Let's uncheck those. No, makes no difference. So I think the easiest way to do this is, rather than try to style the SVG directly, is I'm just going to put these icons into a container. So I'm going to give it a span, and that way I can style the span and the SVG will be inside of it rather than trying to style the SVG itself. Sometimes it's easier to just put things into a container. And I'll just do this here on this one so we'll be able to see the difference between the two, and then I'll copy and paste it afterwards. So now, rather than styling the SVG, I can style the span. Can't win, yeah. You gotta head out to here soon. I'd really like to speak to you over phone or something when you're free to do so. Yeah, cool, man. Yeah, schedule's super crazy right now, but definitely let's find time. Shoot me a DM message and let me know what your schedule is like. I think... Yeah, we'll find a time for sure. Let's do it. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for stopping by. It was awesome to see you again. Align items center. So that looks better. They're a little bit more round, and obviously these ones here are. So just to taking a break from Facebook, but I can DM you on Instagram. Do you have a phone? I do have a phone. I also, there's like whispers on Twitch here. You can send me a message there, and also Instagram. Yeah, Burton Media at Instagram. There's a link on my Twitch page there to the Instagram. So either of those work. So if I do that, and now I can up the font size of the SVG separate and see how that looks. 6, whoops, tweet footer, that's a bit too big. Will do, man. I'll DM you my number. Yeah, cool. Sounds good. Peace, man. Have a good rest of your day. .8. So we're still getting that, because this icon is a funky size. So I think what I need to do is make this, it's that. Let's try giving it a width of 3 rem and a height of 3 rem. And we'll get rid of the padding and just see. There we go. That's looking a bit better. This one's still a little wonky, but I think that's the icon itself. I'm not sure if there's anything we can do about that. But I want to shrink these down just a little bit more. That's looking pretty good. And then I do want, we do have the margin right. So now we've got that span. So let's go ahead and throw the span around the ones in here as well. So we'll put this here, 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 and here. Take those out and move them to, oops, here. Oh, there's 4 of them, that's why. Let's just do this here. Spin, spin, spin. Cool. So that looks pretty good. So now instead of this background color red, we'll get rid of that. Oops. Had to take an important call. You're back. Cool, man. Welcome back. I was gonna check with you. It'd be cool to. I'm trying to find like different music for the stream. I'm wondering if you're cool with me streaming some of your music sometimes. Cool, you'd be on it. Awesome, man. Sweet. I'll start adding it to my playlist. A variety of stuff. Yeah, I've checked out some of it, and there's definitely some stuff in there that I think could be awesome, chill, like ambient, backgroundy type stuff. And my hip-hop music with my vocals. Yeah, cool. I find vocal stuff for stream sometimes works, although, yeah, I've seen it work on some cases. I think it depends on how background it is, but certainly worth throwing it on and seeing how it lands. as well as instrumental stuff. Yeah, I enjoy the instrumental stuff and want to check out more of that. Chiptune-ish synthy beats, yeah, that's cool. I think it might be cool, depending on what I do with that game, it might be fun to see if there's some music that would be fitting with it, especially the chiptune-y type stuff, because I've actually got, let me go back into that for a second there. Oops, that's not what I meant to open. Definitely talk about that as well. Cool. I'm just loading up, see how this works here. Yeah, so I grabbed some just like royalty-free kind of stuff based on kind of the feel that I want, and you'll see. Are you able to hear the music there? It's obviously going to be a little bit laggy with my little laptop. And obviously I haven't got the death collisions in yet. Piano tune, yeah. So there's a piano tune, and then when that finishes, I thought kind of a cool like orchestral, hear the sound effects too, cool. Epic like chill orchestral like intense battle. And hopefully soon yeah, I want to try to see what I can do as far as like pixel art, but cinematic pixel art. That's kind of my goal with it. And then kind of boss battle-y music. If you'd like to hear, I was literally working on one for my client for his game. If you'd like to hear my work in progress, he's working on a game here on Twitch too. Met him on Twitch, became clients, and now doing music for his game. Sweet, that's cool, man. Yeah, that's the thing that's really cool about Twitch is like, it's such a great platform for just collaboration. Gained a lot of self-confidence. Cool, man. Yeah, same. Even like the pick it, and then like doing it live on stream, it kind of just breaks. You have no choice but to accept being in the public eye with it. It's part of the process. Oh, mic out. What was that? Oh. Is that better? You back in? I think maybe I had too many things running. Back, cool. What was I? Oh, yeah, like doing work on Twitch in front of people, the pixel art. It was something that at first it was like intimidating to do it live, and then now it's kind of like more inspiring. It's like now that I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable, it builds that self-confidence, and then it actually becomes fun, and just reignites that excitement of doing art and doing projects. So now I've given each of these a class: a comment, retweet, like, and share, because they have different colors, although I think comment and share are the same. So I'll give those comment and share. So we'll style those first. A dot comment hover. And this, I've got these. We'll give the blue subtle as the background and blue as the text. Blue subtle and color will be just blue. And so let's see how that looks. There we go, that looks pretty good. Oh, and I want the same for dot share. Oh, I forgot a comma. Oh, and I added an extra bracket. 2 little characters and it destroys the whole entire thing. That's the joys of programming. Uh-oh, you've entered a warning. No worries. I'll have to adjust those settings because I don't mind links. There was a couple streamers suggested like that bots come in. No, it's totally no worries at all. I actually don't mind links at all. The reason that is kind of the default setting. Like I say, I've just left all the default settings on there, so it'll be fine tuning. And I actually want people to be able to share links because I love being able to check things out. The reason is that I guess sometimes bots will come in and start spamming links, and that's why that's the default setting. But I don't think I have a stream with enough followers yet that's going to be an issue, so I think I'll turn off the warnings for link sharing, so feel free. Medieval-ish lore type of setting, but this is what I have so far. Cool. Are you cool if I just play that now? Put that on the background? Cool. Oh, it looks like the link showed up here, but the thing actually removed it, so I can't see the link. Are you able to send me a whisper with that? Just want you to hear my approach. Yeah, cool, totally. Oh, I'm not sure what you mean. The link shows up on my... Actually, I can just do this here. Okay. Oh, yeah, cool. I see what you're saying. Yeah, so you can send the message. Cool, got it. Let's turn this up. And start it over there. There we go. Very nice. Very cool. I like it. Running idea, yeah. I like the quick release on the. Is it like a trumpet? Need to remove those horns and fix the strings. Cool. Very nice. I enjoy that type of music very much. Yeah, I do too, however, it doesn't fit the reference I'm going for, so I'll have to find something similar. Yeah, that's the thing with creative projects too, is that like, you might do something that's with a specific intent and then it doesn't work for that intent, so you end up all of a sudden having a completely new project. Okay, so that's the outer ones, and I think that border's good enough. It's a little hard to see on this screen, so I'm not sure how it looks on the stream. This monitor it's a TV, not a monitor, so it's not got the greatest contrast or brightness. Making that genre is fairly new to me, as making the synth hop genre for so many years has been my go-to. Cool. Is that kind of your vibe for listening to music, more hip-hop-y type? But some of the same inflections and usage of instruments are applied. Yeah, that's what I find really fascinating, is like the theory of music applies across genre. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard, obviously Skrillex has a very specific and distinct style, but on their album, the last track, I think, is in a super awesome orchestral piece, and it's just like a really cool expression of that these guys are these are talented artists that know music, not just can create this particular style. And so similar, I would say, like hearing your synth hop stuff and how that translates, your understanding of music, how that translates into orchestral music, gives the orchestral music its own flavor based on your style, which is really cool. Totally agree. So we've got a retweet and a like, and they each have different colors. So we'll get the retweet and the like. And those will have green and green subtle and red subtle. And that is green and then red. So the retweet is green and the like is red. So now I've got the blue, the green, the red, and the blue, and that matches here. I do kind of want to give them a little bit more space, so I think I will increase this to 4 by 4, and I might actually do 4.4, which is 44 pixels, and the reason that I would do that is that 44 pixels is the recommended size for a touch point. So the recommended minimum size for a touch point. So if this was on mobile, we'd want 44 pixels, makes it so that it's easy to be detected. And it seems like Twitter's probably the same. Just the thing that kind of comes out naturally. I love ethereal lore music, but not classically trained or familiar with the blend and roster needed to big orchestral pieces. Yeah, it's cool. I've played piano for a long time, but not like, I can't read sheet music. I just can pick up certain things, but it wasn't until the last couple years that I really started to be able to consider that I'm able to play the piano as soon as I let go of trying to figure out how to learn songs and just started playing. And it's a totally different experience. Absolutely. So we've got this, but obviously there's some there's retweets within here that we could do. We could add a retweet, but I think I'm going to add this Karen McGrain retweeted up at the top, and then there is this line and a show thread on some of them. So let's add in the show thread bottom and this line, because that's a bit trickier, just figuring that part out. Might have to lurk in a bit. Yeah, no worries. Got a buttload stuff to do. Yeah, no problem at all. I've got 30 minutes left on the stream, so lurk away. Feel free to keep things on in the background, and thanks for the lurk. Get your work done. It's important. So, interestingly, this actually is back across this. So it's above this, but it's actually back. So I think I can probably do that with a transform. And we've already got the retweet icon, so we can use that. Yeah, man, it was a pleasure hanging out in here. I really felt a sense of comfort and peace talking in here. I'm super happy to hear that, man. I really appreciate you being here and your support in all the ways, and looking forward to continuing to connect in here and working on some projects together. Be fun. Sweet, man. So we've got the tweet header, which has the author info. This is the previous one. We have the tweet content. So let me try throwing this in here first and see what that looks like. I'll give this a class of retweet. I have a feeling that there's other things that show up in there, but I can't remember. Looks... oh, liked, okay. So let's... instead of retweet, I'll give this a class of info. Tweet. Latest info. And we will do the icon, and we'll say John Doe retweeted. And in the other tweet, we'll do a like. So it's above the header. And we'll say liked. And we need a heart. And where can I get a heart? It is like. Is that FA heart? Okay, that makes sense. FA heart. So let's see how that looks. So obviously it's way too big, but that doesn't look too, but that's in the right place. And I think I want to give a bit more padding on the top. It's the tweet content. Footer, tweet body, padding right, tweet content. Do I have tweet content? I don't. And that is the one there. So I actually want the padding to be on the whole thing though, on the tweet. So let's just do that instead. Dot tweet. Padding bottom, padding top. I'm going to go 2 rem on the top just to give enough space. That looks better. And then I will go with the latest info, and I'm going to give it a position absolute. And I'll give this a position relative so that it will be styled in the right spot, and now I can actually move it where I want to, because if we look at here, this is pretty in alignment with that. Might give it a little bit of space, but let's give the padding top 0.5 rem. So that looks pretty good. And then the latest info, we actually want, we'll give it the color of gray text, I think. Yeah. And we'll make the font a bit smaller. We'll go with the 1.2 rem on it. And then we'll transform, translate. It's XY, so -1 rem and -1 rem. So it looks pretty good. It moves it back over a little bit. We could probably go back even a little bit further. But I think in general that looks pretty good. Yeah, let's move it back. Let's do 1.2 and 1.2. Let's move it back. There we go. I think we do want even a little bit more on the top. So let's try... Yeah, think that looks pretty good. So now there's the show this thread. So that's a separate piece and it's not always visible. So I'm going to put it on our second tweet. It's under the footer. And actually it is outside of this container. Because this is, we have the tweet image, we have the tweet content. So I think it's actually outside of here. What is this div? This is the tweets. Okay, so no, where I had it was. What I want to do is find, here's the specific tweet. But the challenge is that these two here are actually showing up left to right. And we want a full thread underneath that goes across the whole entire thing. So I think it has actually so that's an interesting problem to solve. I think I'm going to have to add another container, which I don't really want to do, but it is what it is. So tweet content. No, that already exists. Tweet top. So then we have the tweet top, and then we can do tweet bottom, and then this will be an anchor that just says show this thread, and there is going to be, so actually, you know what? It's tied to this. It needs to be within the same. But this actually has a similar setup where we've got these two things, tweet image and tweet content. So I think I'm going to keep that the same. But what I'm going to do, I think instead of this, I'm going to remove this and I'm going to wrap it in a container. So that way we can get rid of the tweet top. So now we're back to there. And I do notice that there is a bit too much padding on the bottom now. So let me fix that. Tweet padding top. Maybe I don't need the padding on the bottom, because the footer's got the padding. So I think I'm just going to treat it as a separate tweet. It technically is the same tweet, but I think this will work since it's the exact same format. We have a tweet image and then tweet content. So let's do this, and I'll give it a class of tweet thread, and that way we can style that separately. And then this will be tweet content. And so this image should be the same image as here. And then the tweet content is just going to be an anchor that says show this thread. There we go. So then we can go .tweet.thread, and it's going to have a padding of 1 rem and 0. And then we can say tweet thread tweet image. And I think maybe I'll move the thread all together. Tweet icons, tweet buttons, tweet input, tweet image. Interesting, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna put all the thread stuff here. How is the image itself styled? Profile image. So it's got the class of profile image. So a profile image gives it its width. So I'm just going to adjust the width for this specifically. Width 3 rem and width 3 and height 3 rem. There we go. But we do want it to be the same width as this. So I need to add an extra 2 rem of padding. So I'm actually going to go margin. And we'll go 0 on the top and 1 rem on the left and right. So that should line us up better. There we go. The thread, I'm going to display, let's do align items center. There we go. I think the padding needs to be actually even less. I think I must have padding on the other stuff. So there we go. Show this thread. That looks pretty good. So it does not have a top border. So I'm going to say border top none. Oh, but border bottom of this one has it. So what I need to do is, we'll say a tweet that has a tweet.thread after it has a border bottom of none. Oh, so it's the second one here, so actually I think, let me just confirm that background color red. Yeah. So that's a tricky one. So how do we remove that border bottom if there's a thread after it? one kind of hacky way to do it would be to add a negative 1 pixel margin or 2 pixel margin. No. So it already is, so that's not going to work. I could try a transform translate y minus 5 pixels, and I'll give this a z index of 1000. Oh, I see. Actually, so background color, we'll give it white, and now we'll do the margin top 1 minus 1 pixel. There we go. It's kind of a hack way to do it, but it'll work. So now we have continuity between these two. It's one piece, and that's kind of how it shows here. We do want to style the link, and there is still some padding going on that I'm not sure. Padding, right? Padding top 0.5. I don't have a header on there, so where is the space coming from? So tweet image has padding. So I'm going to adjust dot thread dot tweet image padding 0.5 rem. I think I just want to do padding top and padding bottom 0.5 rem. See how that looks. Yeah, that looks better. And so then let's adjust the thread anchor. We'll give text decoration none, and we'll give it a color of the blue. Cool. And then the last piece is this line here, which that gets a bit tricky. So I think what I might do, we've got 10 minutes left. I'm going to try one thing and see if that works, but we've made some pretty good progress here. And that one thing is on my thread .tweet.thread, thread dot tweet image colon before. So we'll add a pseudo element to the tweet image container because that's where it's kind of coming out of. And if this doesn't work, I have another idea that we can try, but let's see if this works. Yeah, I don't think that this is going to work. We'll give it a content width 2 pixels, height, I'll just say 50 pixels for now, background color, and we'll do the gray text because it's the darker one. Position absolute, And we'll make this position relative. Top minus 50 pixels, and see what that looks like. So it's showing up here, it's not in there. Yeah, I really think that I'd be better off, so that's what I can do instead of this margin. So let's get rid of this hack. Let's get rid of this here. And what I'm going to do is tweet dot has thread, and we'll do border bottom none. And so that way when we output the HTML, we would just add a class of has thread. And that should give us the same effect there. And what we'll do is style so that if we have a thread, that's when we'll add the line in there. And that makes it easier than trying to figure out how to size that thing. Because we'll know as we're outputting this if it has a thread. Hey, Feed First. I'm doing well, thanks. How are you? You get in here just in the last 5 minutes here. Nice to see you. You're good? Good. Yeah, it's a bit of an early stream, depending especially where you're at. Hey, do you want to see... Do you remember, were you in the pixel art one when I was showing that some space art that I was working on? My sis was on the phone, so I didn't get the notice. Yeah, no worries. Totally get it. Here, I'll, do you want to see the game I'm playing around with? Making? So if you're around on Wednesday, 5 to 7 Pacific time, this is what we'll be working on stream then. Who are all the people at the bottom if there are only 3 of us? Yeah, it's... Let me see what's going on there. I've got it set to all chat, so anybody who's in the chat will show up there. Anybody who's kind of watching, or no, it's everybody who's here, so whether they're chatting or not, they show up. So I'm not sure if that... Yeah. People who have been around, or... It's a new tool that I just got added, the stream avatars. I've never played around with it, so it's kind of fun. I'm hoping to add my little running guy that shows up on the beginning of the stream as a little avatar as well. You like it? Yeah, cool. I like it too. Mega Man's always fun. So yeah, here, I'll give you a little preview of where I've got with this game. So the asteroids I didn't draw, but everything else is kind of my artwork. Doesn't really do too much yet, but we can fire at the asteroids and start to defend the planet. I got some screen shake in there as you're firing. Not sure how it translates on the stream. It might be a bit laggy, but I've never worked with Godot. This is basically kind of my first attempt at making a game, so changed your color? Cool, nice. I'm glad that part of it's working, so I let you change your color. If we get up to where we have enough followers that I can start adding channel points, then I can offer different items for your character too, which is kind of fun. And I can do stuff like, where are you at in here? Whoops, those are bombs. That's... You can go for a ride. Like Vaulty, yeah, totally. Yeah. I think if you type !jump when the star's like close to you, it'll make your character jump and maybe pick it up. So you can go ahead and try that. There you go, you jumped. Yeah, so if you time it just right to get the... I don't think it does anything. It just allows you to collect it, which is kind of fun. I think there is also in here too, I can put some ladders, and then your guy will come and climb the ladder. I think it's like just that was awesome. It's like kind of random though. There's no like control, but yeah, it's kind of fun. So how's your day going? So the stars give you a point which you can buy stuff with. Okay, so I wasn't sure if that lets you actually get points. I haven't reached affiliate status yet, so I don't think you do you get points when you're sitting in my chat right now? Do you see like any channel points? You will, yeah. Once, cool, yeah. I think we have to get to 50 followers. I've reached 2 of the 4 criteria, so I have to get up to 50 followers and then average 3 viewers per stream, which I think we've been getting close to that. So, yeah, that'll be fun to keep building that. So actually, that takes us... You can help? Cool, man. That'd be awesome. I'd appreciate that. So that takes us to the end. Unfortunately, I've got a meeting to go to fairly soon. Otherwise, I'd hang around for a bit longer. But so we... did some pretty good stuff today. We got this stuff added in here. We've styled this, so we've got these icons here, so it's looking more and more like Twitter every day. So obviously this is let's go full screen on here. This is Twitter full screen. And so we've still got this other sidebar over here to build. We can add the loading screen in at some point if we want to. But here's where we're at with our version, the rebuilding version. So it's looking pretty good. We could probably add in these little icons here and see. We can add in this loading stuff at some point, but for now, we're just sitting at here. We've got these, we got that, we got this show this thread thing, and so next we'll start with actually adding in the line here that goes between them. So that's when you have a show this thread, there's a line below there. And then we'll go, after we get everything designed, then we'll go through and we'll do a refactoring where we're cleaning up some of the code and just making sure that the code is reusable and dry, do not repeat yourself. And then we can start adding some flair to it and doing some animations maybe, play around with some stuff. I just realized I got to change the color of that bottom down there. But yeah, so that's where we're at today. I'm just going to see who else is streaming, and maybe we'll send a raid their way. So it looks like White Vault's streaming. Maybe we'll go ahead and raid over to there. But it was great to see you, Feet First. Thanks for stopping by. And hopefully... Sorry, you can come earlier? Yeah, no worries. Totally, I get it for sure. We will definitely be able to see you next week, maybe, or Wednesday night if you're around. Then come on by. But thanks again. And it was great to connect. Thanks everybody else for stopping by and having fun, and seeing the stream. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Bye.
Jesse Jays, I like this guy. Fine stream. Yeah, Jesse's got a lot going on. I like it a lot. That's what I keep telling you when I raid you. Exactly. Wednesday will be comic Wednesday. I'll be working on the web comic. Thursday will be another morning show. I'm gonna probably aim for 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if anyone will be on that stream, but it'll be about 5 hours in the morning. It'll be very chill. It'll be called Wake Up with White Vault. Friday will be a voxel day. I'm going to be building a scene I have. I've been kind of sketching out. Saturday, I'll be drawing people. I'll have a list in Discord. I'll be drawing people's original characters. Illusion Amanda's giving me theirs. Same with JD. And then Sunday, the last of it, will be a morning show, and we'll be playing a video game. Fine. Then everyone you love. Look, I'm not happy about it, but Timo the rules. So that's the plan. I thought that'd be kind of a little cool thing. What are your thoughts on the matter, guys?